NotebookLM is one of the most powerful free AI tools that I have ever tried. And in particular, I've been creating some incredible things with their slide deck generator. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 mind-blowing use cases for NotebookLM slide decks that most people don't know about. This video is sponsored by Dokie. NotebookLM is of course a free tool by Google AI that allows you to create different notebooks on different research topics. And in addition to using it to organize information and to chat with all that information, you can, of course, come over here on the right and actually create slide decks with it. Now, what most people will do is they just come in here and they click on this button right here to generate a slide deck, but that would be a huge mistake because if you click on this little pencil icon, that will open up the settings. And using this, you can create some incredible slide decks. Here are 7 examples. First, you can use NotebookLM to turn handwritten notes into beautiful presentations. So in addition to uploading all your sources, you can also jot some ideas down on a piece of paper, use your phone to take a photo of it, and then you'll have your handwritten notes in here. You can see up here that it was accurately able to parse out the information that was written down on it. And now coming over here to the slide deck, I'm going to go ahead and tell it to turn my handwritten notes into a beautiful and fun slide deck. And I'm going to tell it exactly what style I want the slide deck to be in, and then I'll click on generate. And here's what it put together for us. It literally took the image as the first page to show you the entire outline, and then it actually follows this outline. So first it talks about why we should explore space. Then it talks about some of the historical milestones. We then talk about some of the current challenges, and then where we plan to explore next, places like Mars. And it follows the styling exactly and creates this really cool, beautiful looking presentation. Now, of course, one of the main use cases for NotebookLM is to learn new material. And they certainly give you a lot of different ways to do that. But one of my favorite ways that I just discovered is to use NotebookLM to actually create a storybook about all of the information in your notebook. To do that, I'll open up the slide deck menu and then ask it to create a storybook that outlines the history of space travel, created in the style of a modern Japanese manga. And then this is what it came up with for us. So instead of just trying to understand this just by reading a block of text, you actually get an entire story that unfolds and explains to you the history of space travel. Really convenient not only to teach kids about different topics, but even yourself. I know for myself, I'm a visual learner, and I think it's really cool that I can put something like this together and maybe read it at night as I'm trying to fall asleep to really feel more like a story instead of just trying to force learn something. You can also use NotebookLM to take boring, plain text presentations and to turn them into something beautiful. So what I've done is I've come into Google Slides and I put together this presentation. It's very boring, it's just text. I went ahead and downloaded it as a PDF and then uploaded it into NotebookLM. I also added a file from my Google Drive, which is this document right here, which is the brand guide for my business. So what you can do is you can always put together a brand guide so that all the presentations that you make will be done in the same style. Now returning back to NotebookLM, I'll open up the slide deck menu and tell it, polish the slide deck that's in the PDF, enhance the aesthetics, brand colors, and rules. And now we have a presentation that perfectly matches the brand rules inside this document. So if you're a business, every time you make a presentation, they can all look the same in terms of the aesthetic. And what's also awesome about this is that we had uploaded this presentation right here. Everything I talk about in this presentation is here. So for instance, in 1903, there's this exploration of cosmic space by means of reactive devices that was published. And you can see that talked about right here. You could also see that it talks about how in 1926, the first liquid-fueled rocket was launched. And that's covered on this timeline right here. So all the information is in here. It just looks a lot more beautiful. This is a polished, ready-to-go presentation. Now, there are some limitations with NotebookLM slide decks. First of all, they all have these watermarks on the bottom right-hand corner on every single slide. Also, there's no built-in way to edit these slide decks or to make any changes to them. So what you get is what you get. And then finally, even though they all look great, they all kind of have the same feel to them. They all sort of look the same. So to get the most out of AI-generated slide decks, let's hear from today's sponsor. Dokie AI is built from the ground up to create for you stunning, beautiful looking AI generated presentations and slide decks. And unlike NotebookLM, you can edit anything that you create with this. Now, what's also great is you don't actually have to feed information into it. It's able to pull in information and do the research on its own, but you could certainly give it any information that you want to use as a basis for the presentation. Once you submit what you want the presentation to be about, you can choose how many pages it is, if there's going to be any animation in it, the language, and even the theme of the presentation. You'll then get a detailed, comprehensive outline of the entire presentation that you can check over. If there's something you don't like in here, just ask Dokie to make changes to it. But once you're happy with the way the outline is, you can generate the actual slide deck. And unlike NotebookLM, you're not stuck with the final presentation that it creates for you. If there's anything you don't like in here, you can ask Dokie to change it. All you have to do is select a section, ask it to make it shorter, longer, or completely rewrite it. You can even have it change the entire theme of the presentation. But my favorite tool is the animate button. Select any element, click on animation, and you can animate this any way that you want. If you want to try Dokie AI out for yourself, grab it at the link in the description down below. And thank you, Dokie, for sponsoring this video. Another great way to use NotebookLM is to help you master any goals that you have. So currently I have a goal of doing a one-armed pull-up, but I actually have no idea the steps I need to take to be able to accomplish that. Well, I've brought in a bunch of sources all about how to do a one-armed pull-up, and now I'm going to come over to the slide deck generator and tell it, create a slide deck that shows a step-by-step plan on how to master the one-armed pull-up. Create it in a Blackboard style with white and colored chalk writing. And now in the exact style that we wanted, we now have a guide on how to do a one-armed pull-up. They first talk about what it will take to be able to do one, the prerequisites for it, everything you would have to be able to do first. We also have how to actually go from having a normal pull-up strength to a one-arm pull-up strength, and then step by step, every drill you need to learn about and be able to do in order to master it. So now I can save this to my phone every time I go to the gym. I can spend a little time every single session practicing how to do a one-armed pull-up, and hopefully one day I will actually be able to achieve this new goal. When most people think about slide decks, they imagine themselves standing in front of a room giving a presentation. But slide decks are also really awesome for when you're leading workshops. And so you can use NotebookLM to help you with creating slides for workshops as well. So here I've started a notebook all about how to get started with AI for beginners with the express intention of using this to help me organize a workshop that I'm going to be doing on this subject. So I have a bunch of sources in here. Now open up the slide deck generator and tell it to turn this notebook into a hands-on workshop slide deck that will help people learn how to get started with AI. And check out what it put together for us. This isn't just a presentation where you're talking up at the front, teaching people about AI. There's actual case studies in here where you can talk to the participants and have them have a conversation about what they're learning about, and tasks for them to try as well to see if they're understanding the concepts. This was so easy to produce. So if your boss comes to you and says, hey, you need to put together a workshop, maybe for later today, all you have to do is put together a notebook on that topic, and you can have a professional looking workshop created in just a few minutes, and you will look super prepared. Another way that I've been using NotebookLM slide decks is to pit two opposing opinions against each other to learn about the debate from each different side. So here I've brought in a bunch of articles talking about why AI is going to be good for the world, and other articles talking about why it's going to be bad for the world. Now coming over to the slide deck generator, I'm going to tell it to create a slide deck where each page of the slide deck is split in two with opposing opinions on whether AI is good or bad on either side. And what we have now is a head-to-head debate on whether AI is good for the world or bad for the world, broken down by topics. The scale argument, the productivity argument, the healthcare and science argument, each in a different slide, and each of those adhering to my prompt, which was to split it in half with the positives on the left and the negatives on the right. Finally, once you have a presentation that you love, go ahead and download it, then actually upload it as a source into your notebook, and come over to the chat and tell it to create speaker notes for the presentation you uploaded, give it the name of the presentation, and tell it to give a breakdown of each slide and the notes for that slide as well. So now you can see all these presenter notes right here. I can actually open up the presentation as well so we can follow along. Slide 1 is the title slide. So this is everything you want to talk about. Slide 2 is why you reach for the stars. And this is everything you want to talk about in here. And what's great about this is that this is all, of course, grounded in the sources that you have uploaded here. So it is exactly the information that you want in here and nothing else. So there you have it, 7 ways to create incredible slide decks with NotebookLM that most people have no idea about. If you enjoyed this video, you're absolutely gonna love this one right here, where I cover how to get the most out of NotebookLM infographics. So if that interests you, make sure to click on this video right here, and I'll see you over there in just 1 second. Bye for now.